Hi, fifth graders. Today in math, we are doing lesson 3.4, which is fractions times fractions. So instead of doing a big number times a fraction, today we're going to be working with a fraction times another fraction. So let's first do a review of what we've been working on so far this week. Number 1, 1/7 times 6. What would 1/7 times 6 give me? 6/7. Because remember, I just take my big number times the top, my bottom number stays the same. So that would be 6/7. What about number 2? 5 times 1/4. What would 5 times 1/4 give me? 5/4. Uh-oh. What do I need to do to that? I need to divide to be able to fix it. 5 divided by 4. That will go in there one time. 4 times 1 is 4. That gives me a remainder of 1. I'm going to take that and turn it into my mixed number. So I would get a big 1 and 1/4 would be my final answer. 1 and 1/4. All right, one more for review here. Number 3, 2/3 times 9. 2/3 times 9, that would be 18/3 because 9 times 2 is 18. Leave my bottom number the same. But I need to fix that. 18 divided by 3, that would be a 6. That is 18, so no remainder. What would my final answer be? A 6. Just a big 6 because I didn't have a remainder, so there can't be any fraction there. Alrighty, so that's what we've been working on all week. Big number times a fraction. I'm going to scooch down here to the very bottom. We'll come back to this middle piece here in a minute. Today, we are multiplying fractions times fractions. So for instance, on number 7, I see 2/7 times 4/9. When I times a fraction by a fraction, I just times the top numbers together and the bottom numbers together. So I would do 2 times 4. What is 2 times 4? That's 8. So my top number would be an 8. And then I times my bottom numbers. 7 times 9 is 63. So 8/63 would be my answer. Okay, let's try another one. Number 8 here. I have 7/8 times 1/3. So times across the top, what would that give me? A 7. Times across the bottom, what would that give me? A 24. So 7/24. Number 9, I have 5/6 times 3/4. Remember, times across the top and times across the bottom. What would my new top number be for my answer? A 15, because 5 times 3 is 15. And my bottom number would be 24, because 6 times 4 is 24. All right, let's try a couple more. 1/3 times 1/4. What would my top number of my answer be? A 1, because 1 times 1 is 1. And then my bottom number would be a, hopefully you said 12, because 3 times 4 would give me 12. All right, one more to make sure we've got the hang of it. 4/7 times 2/9. My new top number would be 8, because 4 times 2 is 8. My new bottom number would be 63. 9 times 7 is 63. So there you go. When we multiply two fractions, we just multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. That's our answer. Now, none of those needed to be fixed because none of them were improper fractions. If it was an improper fraction, we would fix it just like we normally do with division. Okay, but none of those were, so we can just leave them like they were. All right, let's look at this middle section. We know now how to multiply fractions, but we also have to be able to show it using an area model. So we're going to show a picture in each one of these squares to show how we got that answer when we multiply. Okay, I have 2 colored pencils with me. That's going to be very important when we're using the area model. So today when you get to your assignment, you're going to need 2 colored pencils. I don't care what colors they are. You just need 2 different colors. So grab something at your house if you have to use a pen or something, or a pen and a pencil. Grab something if you're quarantined at home so that you can still do this, okay? Let's look at number 4. We have 3/4 times 2/3. Well, first I'm just gonna look at this first fraction, and I'm gonna look at the bottom number. What is the bottom number of my first fraction? A 4. So I need to go down here to my box, and going across, I need to cut my box into 4 slices. So I'm just gonna make them as even as I can. And there we go, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 slices there because my bottom number was a 4. Now I'm gonna pick up a color, doesn't matter which one, I'm going to use the pinkish color. How many of those slices do I need to shade so that it shows 3/4? 3 of them. So I'm gonna take my colored pencil and I'm going to shade completely 3 of these strips because we're trying to show 3/4. Your shading doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want to make sure you get it all shaded in, and you'll see why here in a second. But get it all shaded in. And I'm not pressing really hard. I don't want it to be super dark. It makes it easier to see if it's just a light color. So you might keep that in mind when you're picking your colors for today. All right, so there's 3/4. Then I'm going to look at my second fraction up here, and it is 2/3. So check out that bottom number. What is the bottom number of my second fraction? 3. So now, going up and down, I'm going to cut my box into 3 pieces going up and down. So, 2. There we go. 1, 2, 3. We kind of ignore what's in the background and just look at those 3 slices. Now I'm going to pick up my other color, which is my blue. And how many of those slices do I need to shade going up and down to show my second fraction? 2 of them, because I have 2/3. So going up and down, I'm going to shade 2 of these long slices because that would be for 2/3. Notice I'm shading right over the top of that pink wherever I needed to shade. We want to do that because I'm just shading 2/3. There we go. Now you should be able to tell. There are some boxes that have both colors, like this one has pink and blue. This one has pink and blue. These, though, only have pink. These only have blue, and this one doesn't have anything. To get the top number for my answer, I count which boxes have both colors. I'm looking for which boxes have both colors in them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes that have pink and blue. So my top number is a 6. And to get my bottom number, I count how many pieces there are in there. All together, how many pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So 6/12 would be my answer. Let's try that again because the only way that we get better at it is just by practicing with a couple of more. So they're giving me 1/2 times 3/8. Look at your first fraction. Look at that bottom number. What is the bottom number on my first fraction? It's a 2. So I need to cut my box in half like that because the bottom number was a 2. Then I'm picking up my first color. How many of those pieces do I need to shade to show 1/2? 1 of them. Let's go ahead and shade 1 of those. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to get the whole thing shaded in. That way here in a minute you can tell where they overlap each other, because that gives us our answer. And if we don't shade them in correctly, we're not going to get a very good answer. Okay, so there's 1 piece shaded. Then I'm going to look at my second fraction, and I'm checking out that bottom number. What is my bottom number on my second fraction? An 8. So going up and down, I need to divide my square into 8 pieces. Try to get them as even as you can. Count carefully to make sure you get 8 in there. Double count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 there. Now I'm going to grab my second color. And how many of those long strips do I need to shade to show 3/8? 3 of them. So go through and shade 3 of those long strips. Any 3, I just chose the first 3 because that makes it easier. All right, there, those are shaded. Now to figure out our answer, remember our top number is how many of those overlap? How many have both colors, pink and blue? How many pieces? 1, 2, 3. Those are the only 3 that have both colors. So 3 is our top number. And for my bottom number, remember I count all of the pieces in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 3/16 would be my final answer. All right, I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do it pretty quick. And if you have gotten the hang of it, this one should be easy for you to do along with me. 5/6 is my first fraction. So I'm looking at my bottom number. What is my bottom number here? 6. So I need to cut my box into 6 slices because that's my bottom number. My bottom number tells me how many slices I need. All right, there's 6 of them. Grab my first color. How many of those do I need to shade? 5 of them because that's what my top number was. So I'm gonna shade 5 of these slices. So I'm shading all but 1. Remember, your shading doesn't have to be perfect, but make sure you get it all shaded in or else we won't be able to tell here in a minute which ones overlap each other. All right, now I'm gonna go to my second fraction. 1/3, check out that bottom number. How many slices do I need to make going up and down? 3. So cut it into thirds going up and down. Remember, we kind of ignore what's going on in the background, just do up and down. Grab my other color. How many of those do I need to shade if I want to show 1/3? 1 of them, so shade 1 of those tall slices going up and down. Make sure you get all the slice there. All right, now we're ready to look. We need to see how many have both colors. That's gonna give me my top number. How many overlap? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's my top number. And to get my bottom number, what do? Count all the pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 5/18. All right, very nice job. On your homework assignment, you're going to have some of the area model, so make sure that you have colors to use, and you're going to have some where you just get to multiply. Make sure if you have a word problem, you get those labels on there. Do your best.